And welcome back to my Mandalorian review series where I am going to take a look at the worst episode of the show.
He was.
Of the first two seasons. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. But this is chapter 10 called The Passenger. Now, when I first saw this episode all those years ago, when it first came out, I already didn't care for it. I already didn't like it, and there were already things that really irked me. And I think all these years later, it's just gotten worse. And I'm definitely going to rant about it, so strap yourselves in. We're in for one. I was really, really mad and uncomfortable watching this episode when I just watched it. Like, the opening scene alone indicates how fillery it is, because at the end of the previous episode, we see Din driving off on a speeder back to Mos Eisley to meet with Peli, presumably. So it would be logical for this episode to start in Mos Eisley to meet Peli. No. He's still driving back because there's an ambush. And this ambush is just by a couple of random people who don't really seem to have anything going for them. There is no real outcome of this. I suppose it's just a little bit of an action sequence at the beginning just to start off the episode. But other than that, this ambush opening sequence does nothing except for filler up. Just filler. There's nothing to it. And that just indicates how filler this episode is going to be. So he meets with Peli in the cantina and he has to cover her opponent's bet, which is just a not very nice way for her to screw him out of some money. Then she introduces him to this frog lady. And I mentioned this in my previous review. I really hate it when we see people talk in some gibberish language because it looks awkward, it sounds awkward, makes me feel awkward, and it makes me not like the episode. And Peli does that when she's talking to the frog lady, so I'm like, well, fuck this. So to make matters worse for Din, after of course having to walk back from the speeder wreck, which by the way, that didn't seem to be of much consequence because he got back just fine, but either way, he then has to travel sublight to the next system because if he goes to hyperspace, then that will kill the frog's eggs. So, okay, he has to go through sublight. One thing that I really hate about this episode, in addition to all the other things, by the way, but one thing is the overarching theme of everything goes wrong for Din in this episode. About everything goes wrong for him. He gets his ship fucked up. His speeder gets fucked up. He has to walk all the way back. He loses money to Peli because she's screwing him out of a bet that he didn't really want to make. He has to travel sublight. Grogu is being the biggest little shit and causing him a lot of issues in that. I really hate it when, a movie or a TV show is just everything going wrong for the protagonist. This is one of the reasons that I personally really don't like Spider-Man 2, for example. A lot of people love that movie. I don't love it. I think it's okay. It's just what I really hate about that movie is that every single bit goes wrong for Peter. He loses his job. He loses the girl he likes. He loses his powers at one point. Everything just goes wrong for him in that movie. The same way that everything goes wrong for Din in this episode. I really hate it. It's like, can we have something nice happen for the protagonist? We're meant to root for him. We're meant to, see the world through his eyes. And we are meant to, of course, go through struggles, but also have nice things happen. And there are no nice things in this episode, I feel. But the absolute cardinal sin of this episode is that it makes Grogu the most unlikable character ever, even though I think Grogu is one of the best characters of this entire show. I hate Grogu in this episode, and it's because he keeps eating eggs. I am so uncomfortable and disturbed and mad, and it makes me physically feel bad. Now, to be fair, I'm also recovering from a cold that might have to do something with it, but in addition to that, every single time that I've watched this episode, ever since the first time that I watched this episode, and I've seen the episode a couple of times, but in general, I'd like to just skip it because Grogu eating the eggs of the frog lady makes me so uncomfortable. And it's like, why are you doing this? Because I get it, Grogu in the past has eaten live frogs, but in the past I didn't know the frogs and I didn't care. So it's fine. In this case, I actually met the mother, and she seems a perfectly nice woman, especially given the fact that it's the last of her line, and there's this entire mission of getting her through to the other system in only sublight, no hyperspace. It's like, okay, so there's a real reason as to why she needs to go there in the way that they're going. And then Grogu's like, oh, fuck that, I'm just gonna eat these eggs. And I'm like, the first time, I suppose people can find it funny. I already don't like it the first time. But the more and more it goes on, I'm like, stop! Just stop! I get so uncomfortable and disturbed and mad, and I want to strangle Grogu in this episode. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Who wrote this? Seth MacFarlane? Like, he is the king of repeating a joke 10 billion times that it's just used to death and it's not funny anymore. I thought that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were better than that, but no, they were out of ideas and they made a stupid filler episode with stupid filler things like this, and everything about it I just hate, especially Grogu eating eggs. I'm like, for fuck's sake, this is down there in terms of the worst Star Wars that I've ever seen. I'm like, the fireplace scene in Attack of the Clones, the holiday special, the existence of Ves Morgan in Rebels, those are some of the worst things, in my opinion, in Star Wars. Yeah, no, this episode, and especially Grogu eating the eggs, is down there. It makes me physically feel bad. And yes, I did recover from a cold just now, but that I don't think has nothing to do with it, because it also was the case all the other times that I watched this episode. And the other times that I watched this episode, I was perfectly healthy. So, I mean, at least the episode once again has Dave Filoni as an X-Wing pilot, and it also introduces Carson Teva, who's a cool character, and then returns throughout this show and also in the Ahsoka show. So that's kind of cool. Other than that, I don't have too much to say that I really like about this episode. Yeah, they crash on the snow planet, and then the frog lady decides to take a bath with her eggs, because she's like, well, I need to be warm, so cool. Then Grogu can't eat the eggs because Din is there, and then he turns around and he decides to be, a little shit once again by eating other eggs. But this wakes up all the spiders and that fucks everything up. Now, again, I suppose it's kind of cool that the spiders look like the spiders that we see in Star Wars Rebels on Atollon. And also, another connection, by the way, is the mention of the Idiots Array, which is mentioned in the episode Idiots Array, where Lando Calrissian beats Zeb in Rebels. So there are some Rebels connections. I appreciate that. Other than that, But yeah, Grogu eats a spider's egg, and that causes all the spiders to wake up. And this is, again, it's just a very uncomfortable scene because it's just overwhelming odds. There's so many spiders. And actually it kind of reminds me of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, where, there also is some kind of ex machina that gets them out of there miraculously somehow. Though in Chamber of Secrets, I'm more okay with it than here. In this case, I'm like, it's a lazy ex machina and I don't much care for it. But that's mostly because I just don't much care for the episode. I just want it to be over already. It takes a very long time. This entire spiders chase, it takes so long. And I'm just like, can we stop dragging shit out? I feel this episode is so dragged out. There's so much unnecessary shit where I'm like, this could have been done in 5 minutes. But of course, you wouldn't have an episode. But I'm like, there are so many different things that you can do instead to make it more interesting. And not to make Grogu such a little fucking shit. And not to have Din suffer through all the things he's suffering through this episode. So yeah, at the end they get off the planet thanks to, the X-Wing pilots who helped them. I mean, if it wasn't enough of a fuck you already throughout the episode literally ends with Grogu eating another egg right in front of Din. Yeah, might as fucking well. Fucking Christ. What a shit episode. What a terrible and awful episode. I really hate it. It might not be as bad as the episode in season 3, we all know it, the Jack Black episode. It's not far off, I will say. The Jack Black Lizzo episode is the worst episode, but fuck, this is close actually, because it's just as fillery. It has things that really make me just cringe inside, make me uncomfortable. Fucking hell. I have ranted enough about this episode. I am curious, what do you think of this one? Please let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars content. And of course, until the next video, may the Force be with you.